Oh, no question. He's one of the big ones that create a lot of mismatches because he's in the huddle, but you don't know where he's going to line up. He can line up in the backfield. He can line up out at receiver. He can line up in the line. So it does play on your defensive calling because certain sets you want to probably call certain things with him in certain areas, but you never know until they break. So it's a big chess match, and they do a very good job moving him around. So it's definitely going to be challenging for us, and that's why we're doing a lot of communicating, just trying to figure out where he's going to be at and where others are, because that's what type of mismatch and problems he do cause for defenses.
I know that you're outside primarily, but tight ends have had some success against you guys early. Is that just, sometimes you got to pick your poison and you're not always going to be able to cover everybody up, double everyone at least?
Yeah, I mean, they just found open guys, and it just so happened that, especially last week, their tight end was hot, and they kept on trying to find him the ball. I mean, they obviously probably could do all those passes to 84 if they wanted to, but they just went to the tight end. So I wouldn't say that's a weakness for us or anything. That's just where that person's been finding some type of success, and we realize that, and Jimmy Grant's probably looking at that as well, and like, this might be a game that I can do something, but I mean, we're gonna still just grind and not change too much, of course, and just keep on trying to plug away and try to get another win.
What about a guy like Brandin Cooks? I mean, he was highly touted coming out of the draft, a 4.33 guy, real speed demon. How do you try and contain a guy like him?
You gotta swarm to the ball, and if he does catch it or does make a play, because he's very capable of that, you got to be able to tackle him right then and there because he's dangerous in open field. I mean, I'm very familiar with Brandin Cooks, with him going to Oregon State. I watched him a lot while he was playing there, and he's always been dynamic, and so it's going to be a challenge for us with him too, because just like Graham, he can line up in the backfield, he can line up in the slot outside, and they utilize him just like they did with Sproles, and he's just as dangerous in my opinion. So we got to keep an eye on him.
You guys haven't made a lot of plays on the ball, and I know that's a big part of this defense in the secondary. What's kind of been keeping you guys from doing that? Is it just technical things, maybe not on your marks properly? What is it?
It's probably more on us. I wouldn't say that we haven't really had opportunities. I think we've had opportunities, but we just haven't been seizing them, and that's why we're 1-3. I think. I mean, to be pretty honest, and that's something that we do pride ourselves on, and that's something that we're not happy with. We're not happy that we haven't made enough plays on the ball. We only got one interception, and it was in the linebacker group. I don't think anybody in secondary has got an interception yet, and so I mean we gotta pick that up. And once we start doing that, then things will be probably a lot easier for the offense and things like that. So I would probably say it's mostly on us. It's something that we have to do better. We got to do better for that.
Can that somewhat be attributed to maybe at times whether it's playing off the line, whether it's playing a little back because you're coming in that Tampa 2 and you're in the zone where it's hard to maybe play on the ball if you're 5 yards off whenever it's coming in or you're a couple of yards off?
I don't think it's caused by that because each defense is going to have its vulnerabilities, and so quarterbacks are getting good enough to know not to throw it in certain areas depending on the coverage, and so it's just our job to try to put them in situations to make them not have easy access to what we're doing. But I wouldn't say that that's the cause or the reason why, because there's plenty of teams that have done that and been able to get turnovers and make plays on the ball.
It's early, but did you play cover 2 in Tennessee?
Alterraun, a lot of people
You got that habit too. Did you play cover 2 in Tennessee much?
I played it a decent amount my first couple years. Last year we didn't play it as much.
So how's the adjustment been for you to this version of it?
It's different.
Still figuring it out?
Yeah, that's one thing I've definitely been noticing, especially since I didn't play in the preseason, that it's still an adjustment for me. It is different. Even though it's cover 2, it's definitely a different type of cover 2 things. They asked me to do that I haven't done in my whole career as a football player. So it's definitely still learning, but it's definitely coming along more sooner than later, though.
What makes it difficult to learn? Is it because you've got so many different marks and keys and things like that?
It's very dependent on everybody knowing their job and knowing where they got to go, and just the small things in this defense creates a lot of ripple effects. So it's like you have to be really on point on what you're doing, or it's going to cause other people to stumble, and so that's why.
It's Charlie, but do you see?
I was gonna say a lot of piggybacking on that. A lot of it's about trusting.
Yeah.
Where that someone's gonna be on their mark when they need to be there.
Yeah, I would say that.
What would you say the hardest things were for you in adjusting to this defense? Things that you're being asked to do now that you weren't asked to do before?
Just being physical,
outside,
being a little bit more physical on the outside, and really paying attention to detail on our depth, where our landmarks are and where we're supposed to be. Where usually it'll just be cover 2, you're in the flat, like you just got this area, but you can do whatever you want. But here it's more of a set parameters on where we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, and how do we supposed to react to different routes.